stocks, bonds, ETFs, straight out of downtown Chicago. This is Zach's Market Edge.
Welcome to Zach's Market Edge, the podcast about investing in your life. I'm your host, Tracy Reinick, and this week I'm joined by Zach's Director of ETF Research, Nina Mishra, to talk about everything that's going on in India. And there's a lot going on with the retail side, with the apps, companies competing there. There's new regulations. Everything's in chaos, Nina. We've been talking about it. I went to go look at just like what the media is saying about everything to get a grip on it. And it seems kind of insane. So we're going to start with the retail side and those new regulations, which just went into effect, I guess, on February 1st, 2019 here.
Yes.
And suddenly, like the e-tailers had like a new reality, especially Amazon, which is a big player over there. And then Walmart's Flipkart. We forget that they now own Flipkart.
Right.
And they make up 70% of the online marketplace, apparently, over there. And so now these new rules were to allow more competition, I guess we could say. Is that right?
Yes, they are a part of what is ongoing as a part of economic nationalism, we can say.
Yeah.
So these are some very interesting developments. Amazon and Flipkart, two huge players in the Indian e-commerce market, they were actually not allowed to operate as, they were not allowed to sell directly on their marketplaces. They were allowed to operate only as marketplaces. But both these companies, they found very, innovative ways to operate inventory-based models.
Right. And so, some of that, didn't it include they would buy in a percentage of a local-based company?
Yes.
And then basically, from what I gather, use that to drive down prices.
Right.
Basically.
Yes. So what they were doing, they owned these wholesale companies.
Yeah.
And those wholesale companies, in turn, they provided goods to merchants, and merchants sell those goods on these online platforms. Now, these rules applied only to multi-brand retail operators.
Okay.
So Amazon and Flipkart, which was even before Walmart's acquisition, it had a lot of foreign investment. Those rules did not apply to single brand retail like Ikea.
Okay.
So Ikea opened one store in Hyderabad, and they are now opening in Mumbai, Bangalore, and they plan to open 20 more stores in the coming years.
Okay, but this makes some sense to me, just like from a practical viewpoint, because no one else sells IKEA.
Exactly.
So who cares? If they want to discount the bed by 50%, they're only competing against themselves. I guess you could technically say they're competing against some other bed seller out there, but that actual product is only made by them. But these multi-brand, I might be able to buy that, soap or something from another retailer, that exact same brand. So if Amazon and its
selling that soap at a 25% discount,
then where am I going to order it from? I'm going to go on Amazon to order it. We've seen how this works in the United States.
Yes.
You go where it's cheapest, and Walmart is like basically made its whole reputation in the US as well, doing that, like the low cost model. So then if I'm just like this local retailer, I have no chance against that kind of discounting.
So that's what was happening. And according to the new rules, sellers that obtain more than 25% of the goods from a company associated with the marketplace, so Amazon or Flipkart, Walmart, they will not be able to sell on that marketplace.
Oh, okay.
So Amazon had more than 49% investment equity stake in two companies, CloudTel and one more company. It was, let me see the name here.
Yeah, I saw the thing about CloudTel.
So the latest news is that CloudTel had removed about 300,000 products from Amazon website.
As of February 1st, right? Those just went away.
Yes. No, and then they have come back.
Oh, okay.
They have come back because Amazon has reduced its indirect holding to 24%.
Okay, so they sold part of their holding to someone else, apparently?
To the other majority
okay.
holders.
All right.
And I also read that Flipkart is also creating a huge layer of these B2B entities which will operate between its wholesale business and the sellers that operate on the marketplace.
Okay.
So they are already trying to, find loopholes.
Yeah,
in
because
the
how is
rules.
that going to stop anything? Okay, so so now they own 24%, which is under the rules.
Yes.
But they can still, do a 50% like reduction on the laundry detergent or whatever.
Right.
So this isn't going to get us very far.
So, it remains to be seen whether the Indian government will turn a blind eye to these, these companies finding loopholes, or they will impose the new regulations more strictly. Now, who benefits from those new rules, new e-commerce rules? That is India's richest man.
Okay.
Mukesh Ambani, who owns Reliance.
Okay.
And I think many people in the U.S. now know Mukesh Ambani because his daughter got married recently, and it was the costliest wedding of all time.
I did see those pictures.
With a private performance by Beyonce, too.
Oh, that's right.
It's reported to have cost more than $100 million, dollars.
Wow.
So Reliance has already announced that they are launching a new e-commerce platform.
Okay.
And Mukesh Ambani also talked about data colonization by, U.S. tech giants. He compared it to political colonization in the past. So that's very interesting.
This is the other big issue now, right? I did see this actual quote. Let me find it in another topic we're about to discuss about the apps, that data is the new oil.
Yes, that's what they are talking about now.
So it's not just really about getting the detergent 50% off anymore. It doesn't sound like. It's also about what they find out about you when you're buying the detergent.
Exactly.
And that data aspect of it, and that they don't want.
The data. They want the data to be stored in India.
Right.
They also want these online platforms, WhatsApp, and a number of other social media related apps to moderate content.
Right.
And they also.
Let's talk about the part about how the content has to be in India, that part, because we've talked about that before, but that was before they were going to actually institute it, I think. So that would impact a lot of the big financials, like the Visas, the MasterCards, right? In addition to all the other tech giants.
Yes.
So where does that stand now? Has that actually gone into effect? Or have they figured that out yet?
So all the companies, including Amazon, American Express, Microsoft, they had expressed opposition to the rules, and they had applied to the government to reconsider those rules. So it was reported that the first deadline was October end, and Visa and MasterCard had already started storing transactions data, the current data, at data centers in India, but they were still seeking relaxations for storing of past data. So for storing of past data, which is currently stored in data centers, global data centers somewhere in the world, to move that past data and bring it back to India is going to be probably a lot more costly. So those rules, I think they haven't been imposed in entirety as of now. They're still in consideration. And the second phase, I think that they were open for comments. So we will see what happens.
Yeah, I didn't see any, headline breaking stories that it had officially been passed yet.
Yes.
Okay, so this ties into the apps then, where they also are trying to regulate what's going on there. And we've talked about this because WhatsApp, the last time we discussed, WhatsApp was still among the most popular with 250 million users I see now. It's gone up a bit since we last talked about it. But it's now, there are some competitors because there's a lot of these Chinese apps which have exploded in popularity, especially the one by TikTok, which is that lip sync for kids, really. But it's like a lip syncing video app, but it's gaining popularity worldwide now. It's owned by ByteDance, China's ByteDance. And so this proposed change I saw would, I had to write it down here, would require internet companies to proactively screen user posts and messages to ensure people don't share anything unlawful. And I guess
Yes.
unlawful means libelous, invasive of privacy, hateful, or deceptive. So as soon as I saw this, the first thing I thought of was like, well, it's like nearly impossible to do. I mean, the Chinese managed to basically police their internet, but they have thousands of people sitting there to do it. Like, I don't know. And I know this is just under consideration, right? This hasn't actually actively passed yet.
Yeah, this is a plan in consideration. So it read on FT that 5 out of top 10 apps in India are now Chinese owned.
Okay, that's
so
what I thought.
that's why it makes a lot of sense. In addition to policing and limiting the powers of U.S. tech giants, now they are looking at these Chinese companies and Chinese
Right.
providers too. And this makes some sense to me because in the past there have been instances where misinformation and fake news was circulated on WhatsApp, and there were riots and some lynches too as a result.
Yeah.
So some, moderation of the content makes sense. But as you said, I do not know how they are going to enforce that because China basically has censorship.
Right.
They have been doing it for so many years.
Yeah.
And also because WhatsApp messages and probably other social media apps also, the messages are encrypted.
Right.
So how they will, make sense of those messages and how they are going to police those messages and also
Right.
provide to the regulators, we will see. But the main issue now in India is the upcoming parliamentary elections.
Right. Well, that was my next question. How much is this, really
Related to-
politics with this upcoming election?
Yes. So India will hold parliamentary elections in May.
Okay.
And I think till about a year back or so, everyone said that Modi's party, BJP, the Bharatiya Janata Party, they will win majority again in the parliament. It was kind of a gone conclusion. But their party lost 3 key state elections late last year, and that is because a part of the population, they are not happy with the outcome of demonetization move and new goods and services tax regime. So that is why they lost elections, and it seems BJP is now not very sure about winning the parliamentary elections. So that is why, in order to appease Indians, they are focusing on economic nationalism. These may be a part of the populist policies that they are trying to implement before the elections. And in the past, Modi government, when it came to power, they were very supportive of technology companies and foreign investment in India. Modi also visited Silicon Valley. He met with all the executives and assured them that they will have a lot of support from his administration. But everything seems to have changed in the past 1 year or so. And that is the reason why they were pressuring the central bank to loosen monetary policy. And central bank in the past had been very independent, had operated as a very independent monetary authority. So late last year, the central bank governor resigned, and it was reported he resigned in protest of government's intervention in monetary policies. He did not want any interference from politicians. And Modi government appointed a bureaucrat as the central bank governor. And recently they did cut rates, which was rather surprising after the central bank had been raising the rates for the past couple of years in order to keep inflation under control. But they delivered the new governor delivered a surprise rate cut, I think.
How
maybe
convenient.
to appease the politician. And that is never good for the economy, whether it's the US or
Yeah.
India. An independent central bank is very important for proper functioning of the economy.
Yeah. Now, back to the apps thing. Is it possible that most of this is just being proposed and it's kind of out there because we're getting like towards the end of February, the election's in May, and that nothing will actually result on that initiative before the election?
That is quite possible because these are still, in the works. So probably they are open for comments now, and
Yeah.
by the time they become a rule, it may be election time. And depending on the outcome of the election, whether BJP wins election or we
Right.
see another party in power. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty as of now. Probably we'll get a better clarity only after we know the outcome of the elections in India.
I saw that some of the big tech companies have been providing comments too. And Microsoft in particular said that complying with this kind of app would be nearly impossible because it doesn't control the whole network, basically. And
Exactly.
you would have to literally monitor what goes on, even at like Wi-Fi hotspots and things like that. And then they said, obviously, the other side would just be the cost of doing it would be prohibitive. Why would you be in there if you had to hire literally thousands of people to monitor?
Yeah, ultimately, all these rules would hurt customers, whether it's
Yeah.
the e-commerce rules imposed on Amazon and Flipkart, or these data center rules imposed on financial firms. Increased costs will be passed on to customers, and customers will be the biggest losers in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me wonder what would happen if like WhatsApp just decided to like pull out of the market.
Yes.
I think there would be quite an outcry.
Yeah, I don't think. I think with more than 250 million users,
Yeah.
they will not. But yes, they may. They curtail their growth plans in
Yeah.
India, and they had already applied for a payment service.
That's right. Forgot about that.
Nothing has happened so far because of all these
Yeah.
regulatory concerns. So they may curtail their spending in India if Indian government goes ahead with these rules.
Where does this leave on some of the payment side? I know Alibaba's been trying to make a push to get in there, and don't they are a backer of one of the Indian payment systems, right?
Yes. So Paytm is the biggest operator,
Okay.
payment system operator, and it was a huge beneficiary of the demonetization.
That's
move.
right.
And I've really seen a lot of digitization of payments in India because
Okay.
mobile phones, cheap smartphones with limited functions are so popular in India. Data plans are very cheap, so Indians have gone directly from cash to mobile payments.
Yeah.
Credit card stage was
Right.
not
Forget
so popular
that.
in
Yeah.
India. So yes, Paytm is a big player, and it has a lot of investment from Chinese and US tech giants. It also received an investment from Warren Buffett late last year. But all other tech companies have also been trying to, do their own payment, launch their own payment services in India. Google has a payment service in India. Amazon has a payment service in India. Facebook is trying now through its WhatsApp platform. So far, they have not been able to launch it.
Okay. Well, that's another area we'll keep an eye on.
Yes.
That's definitely a hot area for sure. You might not know the answer to this, but how is Ikea doing over in India? Because that's just, I would think, a big market for them.
Yes, I think they must be doing pretty well.
Okay. Do you know anyone who's gone there? Have you checked it out?
No, I haven't. It's in Hyderabad, and I don't. When I visit India, I normally do not go to Hyderabad. But I read that they are planning to open 20 more stores.
Wow.
So I think their growth plans. Obviously, India is a very important country for India's global growth ambitions, and for Amazon and Walmart too.
Yeah.
But I read IKEA is doing pretty well.
Okay. Do they have the restaurant there? They must.
Yes,
in
the Hyderabad, they have a big restaurant where they serve everything from kebabs and biryanis to.
Wow.
Some probably some Swedish.
I don't know. I wonder if they sell the meatballs. No, they can't, right? A vegetarian version?
I'm not sure what they're selling, but they have. It's a huge store, I read, and it's pretty popular in Hyderabad.
Okay. Well, yeah, we like them here. I like to go to them
yes,
here.
Yeah. Ikea is always, even if you don't buy anything, it's always good to visit and explore, look at the latest offerings, and go to their restaurants. It's always fun.
It's like an all-day event or something. Yeah. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that too if we see anything. They're always kind of secretive on like what's going on with their business because they are privately held. So most people don't realize that. You cannot invest in Ikea, I'm afraid. But you can invest in a whole bunch of the other names we talked about here today. So we know most of them, but Walmart, they own the Flipkart WMT. They just reported blowout earnings. You might want to go check that out. Amazon, AMZN. We didn't talk about Twitter, but they're probably affected by that data.
Rules,
the data and like having to monitor. I can't imagine. Is Twitter big in India?
I think it's pretty popular.
Okay.
I've seen people using Twitter a lot.
Okay. So Twitter, TWTR is going to face that same issue. Facebook, obviously, FB. Microsoft, we mentioned them, MSFT. If you want to get in on the payment side, Alibaba is an option, a way to get in there too, with BABA is the ticker there. I think that covered everybody. But we're going to keep an eye on this India story because a lot's going on. And we'll probably do another show after the election so that we can kind of see what the fallout's going to be.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I read that Netflix is also investing a lot in India.
Oh, yeah.
And they are launching some 9 new series, new original series.
Wow. 9 different series?
Yes.
They had a big one, didn't they? That was really popular?
Sacred Games.
That's right.
They invested a lot in that. And they were some top, they hired some of the top Bollywood actors for that show. So that was
must
popular.
Be working.
That was pretty popular in India. So when Netflix and Amazon both launched their video services in India. Initially, Amazon focused more on homegrown content.
Okay.
They developed a lot of original content in India, whereas Netflix originally was focusing a lot on their U.S. content or their global content, but now both are producing a lot of original content for Indian viewers. So both are pretty popular.
Have they kept the price the same? I know we talked about this. Wasn't it still like $10 a month or something for Netflix?
$9.
Yeah, that's
starts
expensive.
At $8 or $9, which is pretty expensive for the Indian middle class. But they want to keep their prices high, I guess.
Okay, must be working.
Yeah, it's working for them.
Yeah, that's another thing we're going to keep an eye on both those companies. So we'll add Netflix into there. NFLX is the ticker there. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode of The Market Edge because you never know what part of the world we're going to go to the next week. But we love talking about India, so we will be talking about this one again in the next couple months here. But you can get us on Apple Podcasts, of course, and also on SoundCloud. You can get us with the Value Investor Podcast on SoundCloud. So 2-for-1 deal over there. And I believe we're now on Spotify. Go look over on Spotify. I think we're over there. But you can get us a lot of places. But be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And I'll be back again next week with some more stocks.